So I think I see about 5 or 6 of them on the surface up here. Now the whole school's probably gonna come up with them, and you might even see some bull sharks.
So each dive is an hour long?
One of the first things I said was, dude, you gotta come down and get certified. You're missing out on a whole nother world down there.
Running offshore to catch tuna always sounds like a good idea to me. Look at all the pilchards just exploding. That is cool, buddy. That one? Nice.
Ali really wanted to catch a jewfish.
This thing could snap this rod like a friggin' twig.
My name is Ali Hussainy. I grew up in Southern California and now operate the largest sport fishing website in the world.
Just another day at the office?
My office, not yours.
I'm Rush Maltz,
I got you. What you seeing?
Florida Keys native and career fishing guide for the past 20 years.
When I come out to California, you can let me catch all the 300-pound tunas.
Our passion is our profession, and we know there's more to fishing than just the catch.
We explore the people, places, and species that make up the culture of fishing.
At some point, you're gonna kind of freak out a little bit. Maybe a little bit, maybe a lot, but you know, it'll happen just a tiny little bit. And so the first thing you wanna do is just stop. Stop what you're doing, catch your breath, figure out what the hell is going on.
Growing up in San Diego, I've always been, in, around the water. But one of the things I've never had the opportunity to do was learn how to dive.
So again, never take that regulator out of your mouth. Always keep it in.
There's probably a couple things that have prevented me from getting dive certified in the past. The single biggest one, to be honest, was cold water. I love to jump in offshore, do a little spear fishing on a kelp patty or something like that. But that's about the extent of the diving that I've done in California.
First thing we want to do is loosen up this knob, move the dust cap out of the way. Now if you'll notice, there's that rim all right along there. That rim fits right in that keyway.
A big part of the class is they want to make sure that you understand what happens to your body in a physiological sense when you go underwater with that kind of pressure, and what's going to happen to that air and the potential dangers and pitfalls.
Table 1 is we first start diving.
Yep.
It tells us what our depth is, and then what our maximum time can be.
Your body accumulates nitrogen at a much faster rate at depth. If you ascend too fast, your body can't get rid of that nitrogen fast enough.
Every dive you do in a 24-hour period is a repetitive dive. Dive this afternoon and a dive tonight.
But realistically, if you go to sleep, come back the next day, you're gassed off, you're fine.
Yep.
Okay. They're basically teaching you the steps that you need to avoid decompression sickness or the bends.
So remember, in scuba diving, nothing should hurt. We'll just drop down for a minute, breathe. If you're doing okay, we'll move down that way and go on, all right?
Getting certified is a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. It really is something that you can, tie into a vacation to a tropical destination.
When I found out Ali wasn't certified, one of the first things I said was, dude, you got to come down and get certified. You're missing out on a whole nother world down there. You're a fisherman, you know how these fish act on the surface. It's time for you to see them in their natural environment.
I'm down here in the Florida Keys to get my dive certification done. And when I'm in the Keys, I always carve out a little bit of time to do some fishing with my buddy Rush.
I got you. That sounds good. You've been seeing a bunch?
Yeah, I'm out on the wreck, here off the end. It's been good, but that number 1 spot this morning was...
You want to go catch a couple cobia real quick?
We can do that, that'd be cool.
About this time of year, January, February, these cobia start to migrate down. The water temperatures drop and start hanging around some of these shallow wrecks and deeper wrecks and any kind of structure they could really find. The military brought a bunch of these wrecks out here back in the day, 50s, 60s, and they would use them for target practice.
Oh, just drag an old boat out and bomb the hell out of it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So I think I see about 5 or 6 of them on the surface up here.
Okay.
On the other side of the wreck. I see some.
Can I cast from the bow, or what's the plan?
You can see them. You're fine. We're gonna sneak up on them. Be pretty stealthy.
I see him now, laying in the middle of the wreck.
There's a lot of them. So I'm gonna stay back here. If you cast over the wreck, oh, I think he ate it.
I think it'll work.
That didn't take long, huh?
We call that West Coast style.
You've been telling me you want to bring it out here.
Dude, first cast though, that's just silly. Oh, trying to get me in the wreck.
Now the whole school's probably gonna come up with them, and you might even see some bull sharks.
Local knowledge is brought to you by Andros Boatworks. Adventure never ends. The Florida Keys and Key West, come as you are. And bdoutdoors.com.
Reel down to the water until it's rip and drag. Get him!
We're just getting started. We lost a day getting ready to go.
There's a lot of them. Oh, I think he ate it.
I think it'll work.
That didn't take long, huh?
I'm fortunate to travel and fish a lot, and one of the fish I've always wanted to catch was the cobia. I think the reason I wanted to catch one, because in my mind it's very similar to our yellowtail, which is our bread and butter game fish and something I've been chasing since I was a kid. Trying to get me in the wreck.
Now the whole school's probably gonna come up with them, and you might even see some bull sharks. Look at the big bull shark come up behind the cobias right there, chasing your fish, so you're gonna have to put some heat on them. See the big bull shark behind them?
I don't know.
11 o'clock, right off your rod tip. He's following the school of cobia.
The cool thing about cobias are they're on wrecks, they're offshore, they're inshore, you find them on rays, much like our yellowtail, and they're a big, hard fighting fish. Oh, there it is. Oh, it was across his mouth. I thought it was back through his gill. Problem solved.
Beautiful. We call that Palm Beach.
One of the things that Rush and I talk about all the time is how set people get in their ways as it relates to fishing. Man, I like trying new things. I like to learn along the way. This is my favorite of all those iron, Tatty 45. Man, I've been fishing these since I was a kid. I don't know if it's the shape or what. They just seem to swim a little better, get bit a little better.
Tatty 45, you
That's
called
the
it?
brand, yeah. The guy that invented it was a guy named Tatty. I think his last name was Shimizu. West Coast
Look at this
legend.
giant school,
Cobes?
way off our bow, coming at us. It's like a whole separate school. They look like bigger fish too.
Nice. You come to Florida, it is basically a spinning reel fishery for, small, medium-sized fish. Once they get into the bigger fish, they definitely do go to the conventional stuff. But I was really looking forward to taking my favorite way of fishing back home, which is casting surface iron, and trying it here.
So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna set you up a good ways from them. We'll just drift into them whenever you're comfortable.
Surface iron for us started really with the party boat fishermen, and the reason that they started using these long rods and these light lures was distance. And in the case of this cobia fishing, I don't think you could have hit those fish from that distance with a regular lure, and you definitely couldn't have thrown a bait to them. I feel pretty good about that cast. Didn't stick. Race is on. Dude, that's just silly.
Somebody wants to try their own technique here, I'm all for it. I want to see it. I want to see it happen. And a lot of people do love to pull out their popper or their lure and throw it out there. And a lot of times it works. I mean, people think this lure or this jig, it's only going to work on one species of fish, but at the end of the day, if it's moving right and it's swimming right, that fish is going to eat it. Let me come down and dehook them, see if you can't get one of those big ones. I know you've been wanting to get a decent sized one.
Oh, there's another big one at the back. Now, you ever shoot these when you're diving on wrecks?
Oh yeah, I used to love to shoot them. We call them the big brown bear. They just come up and roll.
That's one of the things I do like about fishing with Rush is he's like me, man. Let's try something new. Let's do it a different way. You know, maybe this works better than the way we've been doing it down here since the Stone Ages.
Don't even throw it that far. Look at these eating the pilchards right here. That's a nice one right there.
I've always heard about how squirrely these things are on the gaff.
Yeah, pick
Which
one
one?
out. Which one you want?
Oh, I want this light. What color one? The big guy. No!
Oh.
Those are first world problems. Dude, as hard as I worked to try to get my first cobia, this is just ridiculous. It was cool to be able to share that tactic with my buddy Rush. You know, he saw me get one on the iron, then he saw me get 2, then he saw me get 3, then he saw me get 4. Next thing you know, Florida boy is over here throwing surface iron at his backyard fish.
20, 30 cobia milling around on the surface, and you could see them from 100, 200 yards away, and you just know what's about to happen. It's an awesome experience.
The old saying, here today, gone tomorrow, really does apply to fishing, but it's here 1 minute, gone the next.
These cobias seem to have gone down. Tide picked up. What they'll do is they'll bed down a little bit. We got a ton of bait if you want to try and go catch some other species.
When you're fishing, a lot of times you make some really good decisions and a lot of times you make some really bad decisions. And in this case, we had a load of bait, an awesome load of pilchards, and we were dying to use them, and it was getting late in the day, and we got the radio call that the tuna are going off on an old subwreck offshore. Woo!
A little different than back at the wreck, huh?
Yeah, this is a whole different ocean out here, just what, 10 miles away?
Yeah. The best thing to do with it, that late in the day, go to the end of the bar, the submarine, dump it. Tunas are gonna come up, and they're gonna come up really close. The closer that sun comes to hitting the water, the better they come up. I'm gonna use a little trace of wire, unless we feel like we're not getting bites. If they start popping and we're not getting bites, we'll go to straight mono, but just in case there's a stray wahoo or something around, I'd like to use a little piece of wire.
Now, what's the story on this wreck right here?
This wreck's actually got a very interesting story. Fishing Key West, there's thousands of wrecks. The submarine off of Key West has a very interesting story. It was a brand new boat commissioned from Germany, making its way over to the Caribbean, found its way around Cuban waters where it had sunk an American ship carrying molasses back and forth from Cuba to Key West. The military then obviously made it its priority to go find that submarine. Found it off of Cuba. It managed to escape, made its way 20 miles south of Key West, southwest of Key West, where the military had found it again. This time they weren't that fortunate, and that is their final resting place. To my knowledge, there's 42 sailors and unmarked graves on that sub.
There's just so much history, you know, and it's laying there right underneath you, and that's really cool and unique.
Introducing a revolutionary concept in outboards, a choice. Now with the Evinrude E-Tech G2, you can choose unrivaled performance, superior fuel economy, and the cleanest combustion outboard on the planet. Choose from hundreds of color combinations to perfectly match your boat. And choose 5 years or 500 hours with no dealer scheduled maintenance. Experience the power of choice at ChooseYourETech.com.
We're just getting started. We lost a day getting ready to go.
Local knowledge is brought to you by Mustad Hooks, defining fishing hooks since 1877. And by AFTCO, the American Fishing Tackle Company.
Running offshore to catch tuna always sounds like a good idea to me. Unfortunately, the reality of that isn't always so awesome. In this case, we were blessed, we made it out there, but we got on the anchor, and of course, the current is perpendicular to the swell. So the whole time we're out there, we're rocking and rolling and holding on for dear life, and it made it a little bit more than just uncomfortable. Get one? Nice.
Well, it's not a 300-pound yellowfin, but still a lot of fun on these spinning rods and light rods.
Any tuna on the right gear is a blast. Whew.
Feel a wave?
Man, that looks so similar to a yellowfin.
What about your bluefin? I think it's got more of the coloration of a bluefin.
It's got bluefin at just a little different shape. I don't know, I look at that thing and it just looks like a darked out yellowfin.
Yeah, the closer that sun comes to hitting the water, the better they come up.
Look at all the pilchards just exploding. That is cool, buddy.
They're not happy about where they're at, are they?
No, this is not a good day to be a pilchard.
This sunset bite always goes off like this too when it's right.
I think that's
true. You
true.
get this color water, Gulf Stream in tight. Nice little guy there. It's a nice little marlin bait.
That is a good marlin bait.
It happens all the time. I mean, that's one of our best tuna bites is that sunset bite.
Cool on this little bass rod, man. He's got it bent.
Ah, perfect.
And we'll get your 3 dives done today,
okay,
and we'll get you done. So each dive is an hour long.
Okay.
And so what we'll do is we'll go for 20 or 30 minutes, come up to the surface, that ends one dive,
okay,
hang out on the surface for a minute, and then go back down, and that starts the second dive.
Cool. There's really no better place in the world to get dive certified than the Keys. The checkout dive is really critical to getting dive certified because they put you in real world situations.
The second thing we're going to do is we're going to take that regulator out of our mouth. We're going to reach down, touch our knees, sweep around, find the regulator, always looking, grab it, put it in our mouth, and then say 2.
When you get certified, you're really not going to be alone. When we were doing our underwater work, I was with other people that were learning as well, so you kind of got to see them and how they do it, and you know, it just made for a comfortable environment to learn in. Depending on where you get dive certified, you may end up, you know, diving in freshwater, in a rock quarry, all kinds of strange places. The cool thing about Strike Zone is they're basically across the street from Lou Key, which is a protected area that's just for diving and has some of the most amazing scenery anywhere in the world.
Growing up in the Keys, pretty much the only things to do are play sports and be out on the water. For me, becoming a so-called waterman in the Keys is pretty much second nature. I was diving before I was certified. We would go out super young and in the canals and just breathe on compressed air, just get a feel for it, you know, with our older friends or whoever. Probably not the safest thing, and I wouldn't recommend it nowadays, but that's pretty much how you grew up down here. It was a little bit of the Wild West.
I think one of the things I'm most excited about now that I am dive certified is the ability to get in the water and sort of check out the structure and the way fish relate to it. I don't see how any fisherman wouldn't benefit from having a better understanding of what's under the boat and how your catch relates to, you know, the structure and their natural environment.
It's been said that a bad day of fishing is better than a good day at the office. But down here in the Florida Keys, we have to disagree. Because with over 200 of the world's best charter boat captains and guides,
There's no such thing as a bad day of fishing. The Florida Keys and Key West.
Sure you don't want to put these on?
I know, you're trained professional here.
You've been practicing.
We can get some that are standing still, I'll go do it.
As a guide, I'm always trying to make people's dreams come true, so to say. A lot of people have certain fish they want to catch. Ali really wanted to catch a Jewfish.
You know, in my mind, the Goliath grouper is really similar to our black sea bass. Where we're at, we catch black sea bass. It's this massive grouper. It's actually a type of bass, but it looks like a giant grouper, and we catch them from time to time. You know, I've got a lot of friends here in Florida that I talk fishing with. For them, the Goliath grouper is really more of a nuisance. They have so many of them here. There are certain spots you can't even fish because that big old bucket head will come and steal your catch before you can even get it in the boat.
Go neutral. Let me just start blind throwing, dude. Can't see anything. Kill it. Yeah, it's gonna get old quick.
You know, fishing at times can seem exotic and glamorous. At other times, not so much. I just wanted to catch one of these fish. I wanted to feel the thing pull. I wanted to see it firsthand. So we relied on some friends. We went out to try to catch bait to get a Jewfish. We are having zero luck doing that. Rush calls up a buddy who's just down the way. We go meet up with him. He basically handed us off bait, gave us everything we needed, and we were on our way to catch fish.
All right, that's good.
Fortunately, he's always got a number or a mark nearby where we can go catch really whatever it is we're looking to catch down here.
Oh yeah, they come and eat anything, you know. You can put a live bait down there, or jack. Or just a nice fresh bait like that laying on the bottom, fluttering down there.
Yeah.
You could hook them straight up through there. You could hook them right through the back right there and just lay that on the bottom. And just watch that rod tip, boom, boom, boom. He's on, just leave it in the rod tip and crank.
There he is.
There you go. Keep cranking. Get this out of your way.
Damn, look at that power.
You got it in low gear?
Yeah. Say what you want. I was gonna get that fish to the boat. I was gonna do whatever it took, and I wasn't gonna let it get away. And in this case, it was using the rod holder, and I'm fine with it. Oh my God, that's a lot of drag.
Don't be scared.
I probably had it at 30 on strike.
Don't be scared. You can feel everything he does too with that straight braid.
Oh yeah, those head shakes.
I think you got him now. He's starting to flow.
Those head shakes are silly.
Ali didn't care how he was going to get this fish to the surface. They're big fish. They hurt when you're pulling on them. Seeing grown men pretty much buckle to their knees trying to fight them. A lot of drag, huh?
Oh,
you said
dude.
You started at 30 and bumped it up to what?
I mean, it's got to be 40-something pounds.
That's what you got to do to stop them. And basically, you're trying to stop a VW.
And just like you said, what's the first thing he does? Right for the structure. Anything like that?
Yeah, that's the one.
I don't want to be here. This thing could snap this rod like a freaking twig.
Now that's where all the power was. Oh God.
Oh God.
So remember that time we tried to catch one of these and the cobies got in the way?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Well, this time no cobies got in the way and we finally got one.
Why don't you go ahead and handle that, Captain Rush? That's a big fish.
That is a big fish. It's amazing. Now those black sea bass, they get every bit as big as that, right?
Every bit, yeah. What do you think that weighs?
250?
That's what I would say, right around 250.
Just feel that gill plate.
Oh my God. Look at that thing, that is just solid. There's not a lot of places in the world you can go to catch a fish that size, you know? I mean, that is a big, mean fish.
If you've never seen one before in your life?
Dude, it's so cool.
Good job, buddy.
Nice work, dude, thank you.
That's what we came here for.
There he goes. Nice work.
Done deal.